Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're taking a look at the Hasbro PulseCon exclusive Transformers Legacy Evolution um, Armada Powerlinx Hotshot with its Minicon Jolt. This was, as I said, an exclusive to the Hasbro PulseCon event that happened about a week or so ago. Um, and this is a repaint of the previously released Armada Hotshot done in its Powerlinx colors, with the inclusion of the Minicon Jolt, a couple extra weapons, and some blast effects. Let me just say right before I get into anything else that if you buy this figure, you definitely should open up the packaging, the blast effects, the blasters, Jolt, the original little engine blaster here. Those were all packed and wrapped up in tissue paper. I would strongly recommend separating the blast effects from everything else because, as we know, the blast effects can actually corrode the paint, peel it off, and actually erode the plastic over time. As you can see, because of how they're packaged, a lot of them can't come out bent and, not very well. But I mean, they do peg in to the front of the guns, which they're there for. But unfortunately, if you go ahead and try to like double them up, what'll end up happening is the arms are just not strong enough to support the weight of those doubled up blast effects. A lot of that, now that's not really the fault of the designers, as probably these guns and the blast effects were an afterthought, and just the joints were not designed for that. For those of you who really aren't familiar with the Powerlinx coloring, back during Armada, the Powerlinx repaints were a way to get the early first wave characters back out in new colors. And in the case of Hotshot, do a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge homage to classic Transformer characters, namely Hot Rod. Now, Jolt here is very interesting. This is an all-new mold, Minicon mold, a little bit smaller than Core Class. The propeller does spin if I don't drop the uh, figure. Ooh, wait a minute. Looking at it through the camera and then in real life, there you can actually notice a difference in how it's spinning. But very cool, nice, cool effect. Now, there's a little bit of a debate here. This color is accurate to the animation model of the original Jolt, but not the original toy color, and not to the toy color of the repaint of Jolt that came with Powerlinx Hotshot. But seeing as how Jolt did not get repainted in the cartoon, I'm pretty sure, um, this is accurate to the animation there. So just a few different things to point out. But it is a nice little figure. Now, there is actually quite a few things you can do with these weapons. Unfortunately, on my copy, they don't work well. And overall, let me just say, uh, paying the $50 for this set was a little disappointing, just because I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. I mean, there's no real way to store it. It's really, on the original toys, it was actually made this chest design. So I'm just going to put this off to the side. You fold up the handles. And as I was starting to say, besides the joints being loose, a lot of the same issues that you've had previously with Hotshot are still there. What you want to do is come around the back here, flip up the axle Zuka, rotate it, and believe it or not, there is weapon storage. Now, let me show you what's going on. So you take this one right here, and you see that little nub right there. And right where my finger is, it's supposed to It's actually, there's even a cutout to fit the groove of the hinge there. And that'll go in quite nicely, just like that. Now let's take this one. Same thing. You see the groove, you see the notch. It's really just supposed to just slide right in. And it does. Problem is, it doesn't stay. The reason being is those slots were not designed for weapon storage. Basically, what the designers did was they noticed these grooves and cutouts and then retrofitted some tabs on these blasters to fit. Now, that's only going to work if the tolerances and the molding is accurate all the time. If it's not, there's just a little, something's a little bit off, you end up with the gun not staying in. Now, of course, you are supposed to be able to close up the axle Zuka like that, so you do have weapon storage. So that is nice. Unfortunately, though, it's kind of pointless if you can't do both. Why bother? So just fold that back up like that. Now, apparently, this is also a new face. If you remember from my original Hotshot review, mine came missing a part. It was part of the windshield right here that flips out. So I actually ended up getting that figure replaced. And since I had already reviewed the figure, I just never bothered opening it. So I can't really bother to take it out just for this review, just to do a little color sample and a head uh, comparison. But if you really want to know, go ahead, find a photo. The goggles can flip down. I do notice that they tend to be a little bit looser, but once you have them frictioned up, they do stay rather nicely. Now, like I said, Jolt here is the real star of the set. There is a little tab here if you want to flip it down. That hotshot can hold Jolt as a weapon. I guess that's a nice little gimmick. For the transformation, it's very simple. Attach the arms, flip the legs down like that, and then continue to flip them forward and out. At which point you can separate the legs. And believe it or not, on the inside here, there are heel spurs that you can just flip out. And I do remember when we got in the original Universe line, when we got a redo of Hot Shot, and it included Jolt. This was part of the problem of getting the figure to stand, was the lack of heel spurs. So once you do that, flip the arms up. I'm gonna switch over to the underside and go ahead and flip the chest down, and it will tab into place right there. And there you have Jolt in its robot mode. And it's very articulated for its size. You have elbows, even have molded fists. Remember, Jolt was one of like the main mini cons in the show, so it's nice to see it included like that. So what we'll do now is, I think since the last time I went from vehicle to robot with Hotshot, I think what I'll do is I'll take you through robot to vehicle. So we'll pause and we'll come back with the transformation. Okay, so transformation really isn't that difficult. Just a few things to note. If you have the feet unpegged for the ankle, to use the ankle articulation, make sure you snap them back into place. Also, like on my original release of Jolt, these shoulder panels generally don't like to stay pegged in, but there's that. So the first thing you want to do is unpeg these panels, bring the head and chest forward, flip the head in, close the chest panel like that, and then bring this whole section up. Uh, there are some tabs right here that are just going to sandwich into the chest like that. Go ahead, rotate the forearms so they face forward like that, and then collapse the shoulder pads down into the rear of the car. Next, what you want to do is rotate the figure at the waist. Just keep the arms out of the way, just make your life easy. Turn the figure over, come around to this side, flip the feet up, bring it back over, and then rotate the legs so they face inward. And now what you're going to do is grab these panels, rotate them up and out, just like so. Uh, Come in underneath, and those little panels that I mentioned before, you want to just go ahead and flip out. Incidentally, I do have that uh, Jolt that was missing the original panel. If anybody wants just like a Jolt that's good in robot mode but a little inaccurate in vehicle mode, let me know. I'm just giving it away. Flip out these side panels, come underneath, and just let's go ahead and collapse the legs up themselves, just like that. Um, and now we'll just come together. What I like to do is uh, sandwich the top panels like that, just like you saw. Uh, then peg them in just like so, and then come around the sides here. Oh, make sure you have the arms in place. Close it up, and there you go. You've got Hotshot in its vehicle mode. And believe it or not, you can have some real fun with vehicle mode. First, let's drop this engine piece on to complete the look. And of course, if you did want to, you can open up the feet to replicate the saw claw gimmick that was originally on the toy. And that's actually something I'm a little disappointed about. Jolt can't carry that because on the original toy, Jolt would drop it on. That would spring open the feet like a grabber claw gimmick. Can't do that here. You can, of course, take the guns, flip out the handles, and peg them onto the side here so you can have some complete weapon storage. Now, apparently, these guns come from a Dreamwave Armada comic where Hotshot was like a serious soldier. And then finally, what we can do, let's go ahead, move these arms out. We're gonna flip the legs out slightly, and that will give us the room. And what you want to do now is pull back on the chest and waist to fold the, the propeller section back, straighten up the canopy, peg the arms in, and just like on the original toy, Jolt can peg in. And by the way, this Jolt is compatible with the original release of Hotshot, so you can do that. And let's have some fun since you don't have to worry about the shoulders. We can slap some blast effects on and uh, have a very armored up Hotshot, just like so. And here you can some of these you can actually use as like ground attack and what have you. But when it's armored up like this, it's actually a very nice looking figure. So yeah, I think that's really all there is to it. We'll pause and we'll come back with my final thought. I know I usually do my final thoughts with the figure in robot mode, but I thought it would be just nice to break up the change. The original Hot Shot, we did that, so now we're going to do with the vehicle mode. But just to give you a final look at just how cool the figure looks armored up. Um, I have to be honest, I for what I paid for the set, I don't see the value. This is $50. This is a leader class price point. And really, all the extra you're getting is Jolt, the two rifles, and the blast effects. And I just don't think that's enough to bump up the price point. Maybe if they had included a repainted Star Saber, which, if you're familiar with the cartoon, Hotshot used a lot and is very closely associated with the character of Hotshot and Armada, that could have been different. If they could have tweaked some of the tolerances, the shoulder pads staying in place in robot mode, making sure the joints are tight enough to lift the guns with the blast effects attached. Um, and of course, making sure the weapon storage worked in the first place. Now, of course, that could just be my copy. Going forward, yours might be different. So, but there is that. Just these little things. Again, that $50 price point. Now, of course, I could just turn around and say, well, you can always wait and, for a sale or discount. But with the reports that Hasbro has been adjusting its production and actually producing less, so there's less overstock to end up on sale and clearance, I don't know if that's a good idea. Because as of right now, this is the only way to get Jolt. And I know a lot of people wanted Jolt. And, and that's another thing. If this is the only way we're going to be able to get mini cons with the Armada figures is through these deluxe sets, I'd rather them find a different way. Maybe sell the mini cons separately as a set. Who knows? So ultimately, if you were on the fence about the set, I would say don't jump. If luckily enough a sale comes along closer to the holidays that brings the price down to maybe around $30, $35, then I would say jump on it. But right now, I just don't see the price to value ratio. But that's about it for the review. If you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe. While I will always appreciate the views, the likes, comments, and subscriptions help to communicate to YouTube through their algorithms that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. If you want to make the ultimate sign of support, I do have a Patreon, www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. All I ask for is $1 a month, $12 a year. No thrills, no tears, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you to help me help you bring figures like this to you, as well as keeping up the infrastructure of the channel. But as I always say, if you can't afford the $1 a month, $12 a year, your views are more than thanks enough. Patreon is just a cherry on top of an already generous Sunday. So that's about it. Once again, this is your old pal Chuck for Powerlinx Hotshot and Jolt. We will see you next time.